Belle Gibson is an alternative medicine guru who, for years, has claimed that she beat cancer due to a healthy diet. According to Gibson, back in 2009, her doctor diagnosed her with an inoperable brain tumor and said that she had about 4 months to live. So for 2 of those months, she did what she was supposed to do according to the doctor, chemotherapy, radiation, but then it wasn't working, so she gave it up and just turned to clean eating, giving up GMOs and gluten and probably other delicious things because according to people like Gibson, those things cause cancer, and so giving them up should cure cancer. Of course, she also claimed that she got colonics and she meditated and everything that goes along with all of that nonsense. And of course, she miraculously did not die. And so she did what anybody would do in those circumstances. She decided to get rich. She started the Whole Pantry app, website, and eventual cookbook in order to encourage other people with cancer to cure it through clean eating. Her app became so successful that Apple actually chose it to be featured when they launched the Apple Watch. And she pledged to give many of the proceeds from her app over to multiple charities. The only problem is that it turns out none of her backstory seems to have actually happened. According to pretty much anyone who ever knew her, she seemed to be some sort of pathological liar. And under mounting pressure, she finally came clean this week and admitted that she made it all up. The proceeds to charity never materialized. Her publisher has stopped producing her cookbook, and Apple has pulled her app. Unfortunately, it seems as though much of the damage has already been done, as Gibson's story of supposedly beating cancer through diet alone has reached a huge number of people. For instance, back in December, the Australian fashion magazine Elle published a profile on Gibson that was positively glowing, and that reached probably about 180,000 people. In the wake of the news that Gibson is an admitted fraud who has been peddling dangerous pseudoscience to people with severe illnesses, Elle's managing editor, Vanessa Lawrence, posted a new article in which she gives a pretty good overview of all of the facts as we currently know them. I think the article might do some good because it does reveal the truth about Gibson while pointing to several of her colleagues in the natural healing movement who have actually died from their cancers by avoiding things like chemotherapy. The article even cites Dr. David Gorski, who is an awesome skeptic. But weirdly, nowhere in Lawrence's article about Gibson does she at any point accept any responsibility for what has happened or even take a moment to apologize to her many readers or the many people who may have seen that profile and decided to stop chemotherapy and just change their diet to magically cure their cancer. Lawrence doesn't even express embarrassment over the fact that shortly after she published Gibson's profile, she received an anonymous letter with many easy-to-check facts in it showing that Gibson was lying. But instead of taking 10 seconds to follow up on that letter, Lawrence dismissed it as probable lies. Lawrence writes that a lot of people are angry at Gibson, but she just feels sad. Here are a few other emotions she should try feeling. Sorry, embarrassed, guilty of putting the lives of cancer patients at risk. Or how about disgusted for contributing to an industry that peddles bullshit to women in exchange for money? The absolute slightest bit of journalistic integrity would have stopped that profile before it ever went to print. Unfortunately, women's magazines aren't journalism. They're advertisements that are sold to women. And Lawrence even boldly admits this by pointing out that it was her idea to profile Gibson in order to promote her new cookbook. So fuck Gibson, fuck Lawrence, fuck Elle. And you know what? While I'm at it, fuck Apple. Because while developing apps for the Apple Watch, did no one at Apple look at this app that was based on a person supposedly curing their cancer through diet and by avoiding chemotherapy and think, hey, do we know anyone who maybe had cancer and tried this method and had it fail miserably? Do we know anyone? Anyone?